The ancient bloodlines that were in the pre-Columbian era of America, the Olmecs, were from the Horn of Africa at the Arabia Felix, since the time of King Asanas in the 3rd and 4th century AD period, the kingdom of Aksum, Ethiopia, were sea foreign people who migrated and traveled all over the world. On the mortuary temple walls of Seti, there's a journey of these people on boats in this hieroglyphic writing in ancient Egypt, the mortuary temple of Seti. It's showing you that they were very seafaring people. They had 4 corners on that wall explaining the book of Gates, or the divisions where they have colonized the whole world. Upper and Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt was Akkadian, or the children of Canaan, going to the west. Upper Egypt, which was in the south, was the kingdom of Cush, the Cushite kings, which King Hassanis, Usanas, they also called him Ela Amidis. Ela Amidis. Ela Amidis in the 3rd and 4th century was the Ethiopian emperor who had coins with a cross on it, just like the Southern Cross on the Confederate flag of the United States. No, the Confederate States of America in the South. All the Mississippian cultures in the pre-Columbian era of America. Now, that same design on the cross is at Leabella, El Rostam in Persia, where the King Darius and King Artaxerxes are buried, who were kings of Egypt as well as Persia, and the Achaemenid dynasties, 26 and 27 dynasty was Persian, well, the 27th dynasty. So you got to look it up. King Darius translated ancient Egypt into his Akkadian, into his the Elamites, or southern Iran. And the last of southern Iran was the Pahlavi Empire. On their flag was a lion with the sword in his hand. The conquering lion of Judah was at Susa in Persepolis during the time it is documented in the book of Esther. In the book of Esther, when the Jews were about to be annihilated by the Greek Macedonians, who were satraps in the empire of Persia. So a satrap is a government or a governor. They were intermingled with the Persians. But the Greeks, satrap, or the Greek governor, Haman, wanted to mass annihilate the Jews who were in Persia. So, and that celebration when the Jews were not mass annihilated, but had the person who wanted them mass annihilated hung at the gallows. And Artaxerxes then takes Esther to be his queen, okay? But they didn't live happily ever after. There's more to the story that is written in the Bible. Well, all died. Everybody died. But I mean, it's just, they just didn't live happily ever after, because the wars continued with the Greeks. And then they lost the war, the Battle of Salamis and Marathon in 480 BC. So those are things that are recorded in Herodotic history. You got to look up some of those things. But the book of Esther documents the time that I was recording when the Greeks were trying to overthrow the Jews. and you have always been in conflict with that bloodline, the Greeks and the Romans from Europe. The Europeans have always been adversary to the children of Israel. So what do you think a redskin is? Washington Redskins. Who do you think the Cherokee, Tennessee headquarters, where Fort Knox, Kentucky's gold reserve, who do you think that belonged to? The Redskins are the Hebrews. The Hebrews were here in the Middle West. They were killing the Hebrews. The Hebrew is a redskin of the East. The children of the East came out of Egypt, from Chaldea, which was a satrap or a government in the kingdom of Akkad. Akkad is the land of Canaan. The children of Israel come from out of the land of Canaan. Their father was an Amorite, which is the black man of the West, in the Northwest. So who do you think the North America belonged to? If there was a kingdom of Akkad in the North, before any white people, since the time of Nimrod, who conquered the whole known world in his wars with the sons of Japheth. He defeated the sons of Japheth. And the sons of Japheth had long been prisoners of war to the kingdom of Nimrod for a long time. Nimrod reigned on the earth for 215 years. At the death of Nimrod, Nimrod was killed by Esau, who is a red man from the house of Abraham, from Chaldea, the satrap government of Akkad, which is the land of Canaan. So the Canaanites are northwestern people. North America belongs to them. That's who is called the Moors, who are southern Spain, at Tarshish, and somewhat in the ancient world, what we call today the Spanish Harlem. In Spanish Harlem, the famous place in New York City, though, known for the black and Latino mixture of people. Because the black man is mixed with the Spanish woman by intercourse. Black man married a Spaniard who speaks Spanish, you know. The El Negro, that's what we call us here in America today. The El Negro, El Para Negro, black power. The black man and the Latin woman. And it's a conflict between those two bloodlines, ancient enmity. The black man is from ancient Kemet, from the Hamitic Empire. And the Spanish is from Latinus, a famous king of Latinum, which was Rome. Ancient Rome is called Latium, or Latium. And Latinus was their first king. So they got a classical myth about Latinus at the Trojan War. So the Trojan War was between the Canaanites and the red man of the East. The black man and the red man had a war for the land of Shem, so which they call Canaan. So, and the Canaanites were not supposed to take that land by inheritance, but they took it by force, being more numerous than the sons of Shem. And it's recalled in the book about Abraham in Genesis chapter 14, as Abraham came from Chaldea into the land of Egypt, where he met Osiris. Osiris was the first civilized king of Egypt. Their first libraries, the first one to start writing histories of his people from the pre-dynastic period. So I think Osiris would have been in like the 10th dynasty of Egypt, the 10th dynasty. So the 10th dynasty would have been Amorites, and the black people of the West ruled Egypt. And about the 31st dynasty in Ptolemaic dynasty, then the pale-faced, light-skinned people began to rule Egypt. Then 30 BC, the white people took over Africa. So at the death of Antony and Cleopatra. But pre-Columbian era of America had long been known to the African Empire. And before the French and the Spanish and the British had their European wars over the African colonies in America, they killed the dark-skinned people in America when they came here and stole all our gold. That's why I was telling you, at Fort Knox, Kentucky, they took over Cherokee, Tennessee. The Cosmic Cross, whose roots go into the underworld in Zilbaba, according to the Maya prophecies of Chalambalam, and the Popol Vuh, which I learned in Mexico, in Guatemala, from my pre-Columbian era of America research I did for over now 28 years with my Egyptology, or studying ancient Egypt, correcting all of the mistakes of all the European Egyptologists. I am the one who started to figure it out because I knew it was my people. And I did extensive time trying to figure it out, a long time. I pinpointed every little thing historically, and it starts to add up. Everything starts to just make sense to me inside of my own head. But I had to publicate it. I had to say it to you. I had to show you the truth before I die, before it's too late. And this European-dominated America has been giving me such a fucking hard time to release the truth to my people. I wanted them to know the truth. Like I knew it. Like I had learned it. I wanted to paint my mind. I wish my beautiful mind. I wish I could show you everything that's inside of it. I didn't want to charge you because the expense would have been too great, and you would have never been able to buy it and to open it up and see the truth of it. So I began to give out the information of my beautiful, beautiful crystal skull from the ancients, from Atom's pearl, the first man at the Septepi in ancient Kemet. I want you to learn the truth like I knew it. I gave my beautiful crystal skull to them freely. All of the wonderful jewels and rubies and precious metals inside of my mind. I didn't throw it to the swine, but I gave it to the people I chose to give it to freely. All the great treasures of King Tut that was stolen out of the Valley of the Kings. It was inside of my crystal skull, and I knew where they were cataloged and where they were located for my people to one day go back and to lay hold of them again and take them from the den of robbers who stole them out of Egypt. I gave you all the treasures of my mind freely. And the whole world is indebted to that crystal skull. Can you dig it?